guys, today's video is actually about postpartum depression. I had postpartum depression. I think it lasted me 2 weeks. It wasn't like a severe case or anything, but I definitely did get it. I was one of those people that thought I wasn't going to, because when I was at the hospital, we stayed there for 3 days, and things were going great. Really good. I was so happy, in a lot of pain of course, but baby was amazing. My husband was helping me so much. Everything was going great, and the nurse had mentioned to me that postpartum depression can happen to anyone, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm great, right? But once I came home and I was all alone, and I didn't have nurses taking care of me or helping me with the baby or anything. Like, it was just me and the baby because my husband went to work. I really started feeling kind of overwhelmed because he was my first child. I didn't know what to expect when I brought him home. I didn't know what it would be like. I didn't know what dealing with a newborn was like, and things kind of got pretty bad. He, like I said in my other videos, he didn't nurse well at all. So when I was at home and had so much trouble with nursing and all that, that really frustrated me, and it was kind of sad just because I had expected to nurse my baby, my whole pregnancy, and then when he showed up and he didn't want to nurse, that was really sad for me. So the nursing was a big issue. Also, because the way my baby did nurse, like, he nursed, but it just wasn't well. He would stay on, like, I would put him on, and he would just take a few sucks, and then he would unlatch, and he kept doing that all day. So he was never actually getting one full meal. There was never a time where he had a full solid meal and he was full. He was just snacking from morning until night, and because of this, it was hard for me to tell, like, when he was finished eating. And because it was my first baby, I didn't really know how to tell. So a lot of times I thought he was full when really he was still starving. So he was screaming a lot, like he was just crying because he was so hungry, and I had no idea. And that drove me crazy. Like, that, I can't handle babies like when they scream, cry. So that really drove me nuts when he was doing that. And then also, it was the same thing through the night. Even though my husband was home, the baby just wouldn't stop crying, and I didn't know it was because he was hungry. I thought he was finished because I didn't really know what to tell. He kept unlatching, and I was like, okay, he must be done. So when we were here at night sleeping, he still would be screaming. So we literally, my husband and I would sit up on the bed, and we would just be rocking him, or rubbing his head, or trying to find something to make him happy, and we didn't know what he wanted. And I was like, wow, I have an awful baby. Like, not like that, but I mean like a colic baby or something like that. Like, I thought I didn't have a good baby, and so that was really sad. But like, during the day I wasn't able to get anything done, and also because I had just had a baby, I was in a lot of pain. I haven't talked about this yet, but I will be posting a video about my labor story, and I did have quite a few complications throughout my whole pregnancy and then my labor. So it was a little bit like, my recovery process was a lot slower than I'm sure most women, so that just added on top. Anyways, pretty much all of these things kind of came together, and it drove me nuts. I was like so confused and I didn't think any of this would have happened. I didn't know what to expect. I was exhausted. I was in pain, and I'm still young, right? And just because right when I had the baby and things were going so bad, I wasn't even able to see any friends, right? I can't just go out and hang out with friends. First of all, I just had a baby, so I'm in a lot of pain. Also, I have a newborn, and he was so, like, he was screaming all the time. I was like, I sound like I couldn't even take him out in public because it would just drive people crazy. I didn't know he was hungry at the time, so I just thought that's just the way he was, and that broke my heart. When I thought that I had a colic baby, I was like, how can I ever make this baby happy, and like, what am I supposed to do? And I just ended up going crazy. I got to the point where I'd be sitting on the couch, literally rocking back and forth, just bawling my eyes out. And I never had like scary thoughts. Like, I never want to hurt my baby, those kind of thoughts or anything. But I did want to get a break from the baby. Like, when my mom would come over to help out a little bit, I would be like, take him away. I need to sleep now because I was exhausted and I just couldn't handle the crying anymore. It was, I think, this went on for about 2 weeks postpartum. He was, yeah, he was pretty cranky, and it was because he was hungry. Like, I feel awful now that I think about, like, my baby was hungry for 2 weeks and I didn't know. Like, I was nursing him all day, but he wasn't getting enough food. And then um, I think what happened was, for me anyways, it started getting better once I moved into my mom's house. So my mom actually lives only 5 minutes away from me, and I have I come from a family of 7, but I have 3 sisters who are home all the time, and I also have 2 brothers who are there often as well. So I couldn't handle the baby on my own, not like because I couldn't get on and off the couch just because I was so sore still and stuff. It was just a lot of work. So I moved into my mom's house for 2 weeks, and which was a blessing. My husband and I slept there. We took some stuff there, and literally all day they just looked after the baby except when it was time to eat. And at this point, I had started pumping because I realized he's just not going to nurse and he needs food. So that's when we started giving him the bottle. We did give him formula in the beginning too, especially because he wasn't eating enough food, and my milk supply had dropped a lot just because of the way he was nursing. He was snacking, so that made my milk supply drop, and there wasn't enough food for him if I was just to pump. So we had to give him formula, and everyone else fed him the bottle. So finally, it started getting easier. He wasn't crying as much, and we noticed, we're like, wow, he's not crying as much. It must have been because he was hungry. And then once they started helping me with, changing his diapers, giving him baths, feeding him was the biggest thing. I kind of had, an hour here, an hour there just to take a nap. Once I got some sleep, I kind of was like, okay, I feel a little bit better. I wasn't so depressed anymore. And then my parents started taking him through the night for us. So he would sleep with them in their bed, and they would give him the bottle for us, and they would only bring him to me once the bottle that I had pumped for him was finished. So he would have a meal or 2 with them, and then if he still wanted more, throughout the night, they'd bring him to me to nurse. So my husband and I started getting about 4 or 5 hours sleep, which is not a lot, but it was much better than what we were normally getting. That kind of made it easier as well. And then finally, what kind of just kicked me out of it was one day I was sitting on the couch and I was looking at my baby. He was sleeping in his swing, and he was so calm and peaceful. And I was like, I can't believe I actually have an amazing baby. He's not colic, and the only issue is that he was hungry. So I kind of was like, wow, that kind of shook me up a little bit. I was like, wow, I'm actually very blessed. I know a lot of people, and a lot of people just in my family have very colicky babies, and I know what it was like, and I was this whole time thinking my life is over, I won't be able to do anything, but that wasn't the case. So I ended up kind of was like, you know what, I gotta shake out of this. So I went upstairs, I showered, I did my hair, I freshened up, I even did makeup, I put on nice clothes to make myself feel better. That really, really helped me feel better. And once I did all that, that maybe put me in a much better mood. I started, trying to get up and move a little bit. It was extremely painful, but I still tried to make myself some food instead of having other people do it. And I, tried to play games with my family when they came home. I just tried to do things to take my mind off the baby. I started watching movies again, and that really just kick-started me into overcoming postpartum depression. Finally, after the 2 weeks staying with my parents, my husband and I moved back home, and I was much more healed then, so I was able to do more things on my own. And then by the time he was home, he was set in, like a basic schedule where, he would just eat full, and then he would just sleep for a little bit, right? And then eat until he was full and sleep again. So that was kind of just his routine. Once he was there, I noticed I had a lot more time to myself. I was able to do so much more, and I was back at my place, so I could, make my own food and, clean the house and organize it the way I like. And that is when I started to overcome postpartum depression, which thank God I did, because it was starting to get pretty serious. So just some tips for those of you who are going through the same things, whether it's not that your baby's not eating or whatever the issue is that's causing you to have postpartum depression. So when you come home from the hospital, I know you might be tired, but try and at least put on you know, some clothes that at least look nice. They might, even if they're extremely comfortable, whether it's yoga pants and a really pretty top or something, try and put on something that makes you feel good about yourself. Do your makeup, do your hair. That's the first thing that will get your attitude about yourself much better. And once that's good, then the second thing I recommend is relaxing. And I know again it's really hard with a baby, but take a bath or just make sure you find some time to yourself. And if you don't have, I really recommend either moving in with your family for a little bit or at least having them come over to your place to help you. And if you do not have family or any close friends that can do this for you, then I honestly think it would be worth spending so a couple bucks and just having a nanny or someone come to the house just for a little bit. And if you can't afford that, I know public health does have some assistance for families who need financial help or what was the other thing? Something about like childcare. So I know that they will send someone to your house to help you, whether it's, you know, help like a lactation consultant to help with nursing or something. And there are, if you can't afford it, then they have like this special program and that will end up paying it for you. I'm not sure how it works, but there are definitely ways you can get help. And there's also the public health I guess talk line that they will give you the number for at the hospital. Call it. If you're feeling depressed or upset, just call and they will talk to you for as long as you need. And it's really, really good. It's good to just be able to talk to someone and let everything off your chest. And they won't judge you. And they understand because they've seen so many women like this before. So it's really good to talk to someone. So that was the other tip I recommend. And also, once you start feeling a little bit better, try and do more things. Whether it's just baking or painting your nails or anything like that, I really recommend doing it. This is all going to help you overcome it. And if you're still just feeling depressed, it will pass. I promise it will. If you have a very severe case, then you might have to talk to a doctor to get some help. And I know it's very curable, but you have to be able to talk to someone about it. If it's not too bad of a case, then just try to appreciate, you know, your baby. And just, like I say, you know what, look, understand how he's or she is feeling. They were in the, you know, the womb for 9 months, and now they're trying to adjust to an outside world. So it must be really hard for them as well. So try to, you know, think about that, and that might help you a little bit too. So I hope this video is helpful. I just want you to know that you're not alone. Many women go through postpartum depression and baby blues, and it's a very sad thing, but it's definitely something that you can get over. So do not stress about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Have a good day. Bye.